So I guess one of the concerns people have with panpsychism is that it departs from common sense so radically. I mean, in my version of panpsychism, tables and chairs and all combinations of particles, no matter how unrelated and disparate they are, form a conscious whole. So like my ears, your feet, and the planet Venus form a conscious whole. And you just think, wow, that's mad, that's crazy. Surely we should stick to something closer to common sense when we're thinking of a theory of consciousness. But I suppose my problem with common sense is that it seems to give a vague answer to what things are conscious. And so we get the strange thought that common sense must be wrong, because common sense implies that it's vague whether or not a fly is conscious, but there's good reason to think it can't possibly be vague whether or not a fly is conscious. So we have to look elsewhere. Where do these common sense intuitions come from? And I think these common sense intuitions are grounded in the idea that consciousness has something to do with cognitive sophistication. That's where this intuition comes from, that a thing must be part of a cognitively sophisticated enough system to be conscious. And then these vagueness considerations, because any notion of cognitively sophisticated enough is inevitably going to be vague. So these vagueness considerations give us reason to think that whole belief upon which our common sense understanding of consciousness is premised is flawed. And so I think that gives us reason to doubt these single common sense intuitions like that universalism can't be right. But I mean, there's a more general point. I'm just not convinced that common sense really ought to have much of a sway in philosophy. If we're trying to work out how the world is in and of itself, why on earth should we care what most Western people think about the world? Why should that matter? You know, Einstein came up with these crazy ideas about time, that time slows down if you're moving fast, and so quantum mechanics has some very crazy suppositions. We don't go around saying, well, I'm sorry, that's not really very much in keeping with what the average man thinks. So, you know, if we're really, if we take metaphysics seriously and we take ourselves to be really trying to find out the nature of the world as it is in and of itself, I don't really see why common sense should have much bearing on that.